Do you feel like you're in a huge transition right now? You're not alone. We just experienced the biggest shift any of us have seen since 2008. This is because you might have seen Pluto moved into Aquarius on January 20th. The shifts aren't over. Pluto will go back into Capricorn from September to November later this year. But then in November, Pluto will be back in Aquarius for good until 2043. This is bringing about a huge shift in our society. We are craving realness, connection, community, and we are moving in a direction that utilizes all of those things. People living from the heart, people sharing their gifts, people starting businesses so that we experience the biggest transfer of wealth we have ever seen. People taking back their power. Pluto is the planet of empowerment, power dynamics, and control. Pluto being in Aquarius, which none of us alive today have ever seen, is the energy of power coming back to the people. But it's not just gonna come back to us, we're going to take it. By following our heart's desires, by following our true calling, by trusting ourselves more than we ever have, because your desires are leading you to the path of not only fulfillment for yourself, but creating a ripple effect in our society of fulfillment, of heart-centeredness. Pluto in Aquarius is seriously going to change our workforce. It is going to change everything about our society, and this isn't something we're going to see instantly. I'm going to be talking more about Pluto in Aquarius in the workforce in my membership on Thursday. I do a live in my membership every single week where I talk about a certain topic, I look at y'all's charts, I answer questions. But the reason you're feeling in such a transition right now, the reason why things might feel really chaotic or like you're in an upheaval is because you're feeling this energy and this push to pursue something new and break out of the old paradigms. The more you do that, the more you're going to be rewarded by this energy and the easier it's going to go for you. If you resist it, it's going to bring about more chaos. Pluto is the planet of the underworld. It is about dredging up the stuff that's underneath everything so that we can look at it, so that we can shift it into the new. We're all learning that right now as it relates to what our long-term visions are for ourselves. And like I said before, taking back our power as people. Pull up your chart, check the house that you have Aquarius ruling, because that is the area of life that for the next 20 years is going to go through a lot of transformation and death and rebirth. It is an area you will become very empowered in through transformation over the next 20 years. And if you have any planets in Aquarius, it's going to amplify that with whatever the energy and the lessons of those planets are. Let me know what that is for you in the comments, and welcome to Pluto in Aquarius. The time has come. Pluto in Aquarius, baby, and we are seeing it. We are tired of the inauthentic bullshit that has dominated the world and internet for the last 15 years. We're bringing back the authenticity, the rawness, and the realness of the 90s. It's here, and it is going to be amplified starting January 21st next year when Pluto moves back into Aquarius, the same day that the sun moves into Aquarius. And what does the sun do whenever it's on a planet? Illuminates it. So we are really going to start to feel this. Whatever you're doing now, make sure it's rooted in authenticity, because that is going to be the ruling vibe and energy of everything for the next 20 years and onward.
Skill set to do their part. That's why I'm introducing. Billionaires have broken the social contract. There is a distinct difference between how billionaires today see themselves as a part of the social fabric and how billionaires of yore saw themselves.
Yes, and times are changing. I've been talking about this all year because Pluto made some major moves this year, and it is going to do so again in 2024, on January 20th to be exact. For the last 15 years, since 2008, we have had Pluto in Capricorn. Now, because Pluto moves back and forth so many times every year, we've had Pluto go back into Capricorn since it went into Aquarius this year, and it will do it again in 2024 for a very short stint. But we're already starting to see the themes of Pluto and Aquarius and people really being tired of the Pluto and Capricorn era that has brought the Kardashians. Pluto and Capricorn brought us wealth that was based in status. Look at what I have. Look at my fancy cars. Look at blah, 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 blah. Look at what I have accumulated
with my wealth, right? Status-based success. But we're moving into the Aquarius age, which is all about doing it for the people and exposing, bringing to light, bringing truth to the people that are not here for the rest of us. Just like this original creator says in her video, Andrew Carnegie was really socially oriented. He had a lot of Aquarius placements. He had his moon in Aquarius. He was born during a time when Neptune and Uranus were both in Aquarius, meaning he had the inherent instinct within him to provide his wealth to the people, to do something good with it. And that is what we are going to see tenfold with Pluto moving into Aquarius for 20 years. We are going to see an end, and we already are, to celebrities and influencers that are just flaunting their money through status, through superficiality, through vanity. Like, we're tired of it. We want authenticity, we want realness, and we want people who contribute something to our society and don't just accumulate money for the sake of having it and showing it off. And this is big Aquarius energy. How are you flaunting your humanitarianism, and what are you doing for all of us as a whole? Because of this, small businesses and creators that really provide value through intentionality are really going to have a big impact and are really going to blow up and be really successful, because they're not just doing it to flaunt wealth or to flaunt status. They're doing it to have an impact on people and to provide value to make our world a better place. And that is what we are going to see rise and rise and rise over the next 20 years, is people that have an intention, a pure intention, backed with whatever it is they're creating, selling, producing, making money off of. And those are the people that are going to be making a lot of money, and they're going to be doing good with it. So we need to stop demonizing people who have money and start to see it differently. It's like, okay, we can do good when we have money, and we need to realize that we have that power as people to create that for ourselves and to literally change how our world operates. But in demonizing the people that are abusing their power and their wealth and their status, we're making it bad to just have money, when that's not the issue. The issue is what we're doing with it. And when you just make it bad to have it because there's bad people that have it, you'll never have it so that you can do good with it. All this eat the rich stuff needs to stop, and we need to put ourselves in those positions to have that authority to change our world. That is Pluto and Aquarius. That is the future, is taking back our power as the people and realizing we have the ability to create wealth to do that, to change the dynamics at play, and thus change how our world operates. The world is our oyster once we realize that, and that's Pluto and Aquarius. It's not up to anyone else to do it for you. You have the power. Now go claim it.
This is the end of an era for this family.
Because people are starting to get over their shit.
Okay, no, but for real, like, this is on some real shit. And it's happening fast. Filming this on the 13th. Early morning on the 13th. We got any other night owls watching this? Please let me know I'm not the only nocturnal person. In 10 days, Pluto, the planet of transformation and change on a collective level, is moving into a new sign. For the past 15 years, since 2008, the 2008 recession, it's been in the sign of Capricorn, a sign of status and wealth. Kind of an energy, too, of everyone out for themselves. Capricorn wants to be seen for what they've done, and they like to show it through their things. With the 2008 recession, we kind of realized that we couldn't keep up this keeping up with the Joneses lifestyle anymore, but it's taking us the full 15 years to really realize what this looks like and to decondition ourselves from it. Kardashians are the perfect example of that. When did they get famous? 2007. Aquarius is a sign of what do you bring to society.
Honestly, don't know how Kris Jenner has managed to, make everyone believe her and Corey are in a relationship for this long. Stop! It's so inauthentic, I want to scream. Oh my god, I'm
going to make this explanation quick because it's almost 10 p.m. and I haven't eaten today. Gemini season, am I right? There's astrology to back up why people have been getting so intuitive and being able to pick up on inauthentic bullshit. One big contributing factor is Pluto in Aquarius. I feel like I've been talking about this for years. Pluto in Aquarius is really uncovering anything about our society, our culture, humanity as a whole that is not authentic. During Pluto in Aquarius, authenticity is going to thrive. We've been in the Pluto and Capricorn era since 2008. What has thrived is status-based wealth and people flaunting it. But now people want to see authenticity and what's real. We want to know that you're human, basically. And with Neptune about to wrap up a 14-year cycle in Pisces, Neptune's home sign, we're all closing out a chapter with learning our intuition and our intuitive abilities that just come with being a human being. Intuition is instinctive intelligence, and we are all truly learning how to use that gift, especially with Saturn being in Pisces. If you're not listening to your intuition right now, life's gonna be pretty hard. This will only amplify next year when we have the North Node moving into Pisces, and Saturn and the North Node will be together in Pisces at one point, really amplifying the need to pay attention to your intuition and act on those intuitive instincts. Adding fuel to that fire is the fact that we have Chiron in a fire sign. Fire rules the instincts, listening to those parts of ourselves that literally make us human and acting on them, especially as it applies to the information we're learning with everything in Gemini. Information is at an all-time high. I can't even get the words out. Like, our mental capacity for information is moving 100 miles a minute, amplified by the fact that we have Mercury and Jupiter in a harmonious aspect to Pluto and Aquarius right now. The inauthentic bullshit is coming to light. Pluto reveals secrets. It brings truth. In the sign of Aquarius, who's all about realness, and a harmonious aspect with Gemini. This is why we are going to see authenticity thrive, and anyone that is still operating from the Pluto and Capricorn era die off if they do not accept this new paradigm. Where do you have Aquarius, Pisces, and Gemini in your chart? These are the houses, the areas of life that this is showing up for you. Let's chat about it in the comments.
Let them eat cake.
It's time for the people to conduct what I want to call a digital guillotine, a digitine if you will. It's time to block all the celebrities, influencers, and wealthy socialites who are not using their resources to help those in dire need. We gave them their platforms. It's time to take it back, take our views away, our likes, our comments, our money, by blocking them on all social media and digital platforms. And I think the first person that we should all focus on is Haley here. Haley Bailey, for your ignorant decision to attend the $75,000 ticket Met Gala and recite "Let Them Eat Cake" while you have done nothing with your 10 million follower platform as people are starving and dying, we sentence you to the digitine.
Vive la révolution.
Yes, the last time Pluto was in Aquarius was the French Revolution, as well as the Marie Antoinette incident. She was basically accused and put on trial for a whole bunch of fuckery. This is the exact day of her trial, October 14th, 1793. As you can see, Pluto was in Aquarius. It was probably about to leave retrograde, because Pluto does go retrograde every single year for 6 months from April to October, give or take a couple days. What I also find super fascinating is that the climate was very similar to our time right now. Pluto was in a late degree of Aquarius, and right now Pluto is only at 2 degrees of Aquarius, and it's about to move back into Capricorn from September to November. This is why I have been saying that something is going to happen to fuel this fire even more from September to November, because we have a revisitation of Pluto and Capricorn, which has given us all of the celebrities flaunting their status and their wealth that they're trying to cling on so desperately to. But the times are changing, and those who don't roll with these changing times are going to be exiled. They're gonna go extinct. And this is exactly what happened with Marie Antoinette. She was literally executed for doing exactly what these celebrities are doing to us today. And get this, it gets even better. The French Revolution, according to Google, started on May 5th, 1789. May 5th, sound familiar? Not only that, Pluto was in Aquarius, Saturn was in Pisces, Saturn is currently in Pisces, Mars was in Aries, Mars is currently in Aries. It was Taurus season, it's currently Taurus season. Jupiter was about to change signs, Jupiter is currently about to change signs. When Marie Antoinette went on trial, Uranus was opposing Pluto. Now, we don't have any major planets or outer planets about to oppose Pluto, but we will in the summer have everything that will be in Leo opposing Pluto. This is the energy of sparking a revolution. And in a couple years, I believe we will have Uranus trining Pluto, which could also spark a revolution. Like I've stated in a previous video, we also have Neptune about to change signs and move into Aries, the planet of war and aggression. Saturn will move into Aries next year for a little bit. Basically, shit's about to get real. It's the people's uprising, and because we have the internet, it's just fueling the fire. What are your thoughts? Let's chat about it.
We have full control over celebrities' money and lives. When we hate on them,
oh, I am here for this. It is way past due time to complain about these types of people for being rich when we literally fucking support them and help them become rich through our likes, our follows, our views, our streams on their Spotify. They don't just become rich out of nowhere. It's because people support them in whatever way. And now we're learning, oh shit, we don't have to support them. We're in control. We have the power. This is so Pluto and Aquarius. I've been talking about this for a year, and the time is here. When Pluto moves back into Capricorn from September to November, shit's gonna really hit the fan. It's given revolution. People take back their power. People rise up finally, because we have reached a point where we're more than fed up and are realizing, oh, we can actually do something about it. If it's not on the internet, then we're taken to the streets, or both. This is the year where we start to see the old system crumble and fall, so we can build a new, better system. Where do you have Capricorn and Aquarius in your chart? Those are the areas of life that this will be affecting for you on a personal level. Change is here. Embrace it, flow with it, and know that you ultimately hold the power for how our world is rebuilt. Let's fucking go.
I never thought I would be a part of the generation that would witness the fall of Hollywood.
I'm back. And what did I tell ya about Pluto going back into Capricorn? Well, it's happening. It's here. We're seeing it. We're living it in real time. That full moon did it for Kim K. I mean, it was right on her natal moon and her natal Jupiter in her 10th house and midheaven of public image, reputation. It was also conjunct Neptune, so bringing what has been hidden under illusion to light. But intuition never hides. A lot of us knew this and knew there was something not right about everything. And now that shit's coming out. Pluto retrograded for Kim into her area of money. She really thrived during the Pluto and Capricorn era. That was when her blow up, her come up happened, when she became a billionaire. Or is she a billionaire? I don't know. That's really when she started making serious money, because Pluto was moving through her second house. But she was making it through manipulation. And Pluto eventually always exposes truth, which now that Capricorn is in its final phase, is being exposed. But not only that, it is also squaring her sun in Libra. A square is a challenging aspect in the 11th house of social media, of community, of long-term visions, of how you're perceived and interact with the world around you, your community. I was in Milan last week for Fashion Week, and this week I'm in Paris for Fashion Week, and I was looking at her stories. She's selling a lot of her old clothes, and that makes you kind of wonder, like, we've been hearing rumors that Kylie isn't as rich as she has portrayed, that she's swimming in debt. Starting to wonder if it's not the same for Kim. They just portray this insane wealth, but do they actually have it? Kim is also, like I've talked about in other videos, in her Uranus opposition, which is in the modern world called the midlife crisis. And astrology is a great time of innovation and change. And for Kim, it's in her area of spirituality and her work. I believe I've said this before, I've done so many videos on this. But if she pivots what she's doing for money, we could really see her change and transform her public image into one of authenticity if she chooses. But I don't know. She might just go down with the rest of Hollywood. Time will tell. What are your thoughts? Let's chat about it in the comments.
Created a scenario where the customer is really going to be able to dictate what these stores can and cannot do.
If y'all haven't seen about this yet, basically what's going on is Target is rolling out Kylie Cosmetics and nobody wants it. And the comments of the social media posts are just full with people complaining and just not vibing with it. I've said it before, I'm gonna say it again. It's Pluto in Aquarius. We want what is real. We want what is authentic. We want people's true life and story to be portrayed as part of their brand and like how they've built what they built. The whole Nepo baby, everything, we're just over it because there's no realness to it. There's no relatability there. And with Pluto and Aquarius, that's what we want as a collective, as a society, and that's what we're moving into. This Pluto shift is changing everything about our society. The old system is crumbling. It's changing our workforce. It's changing how we relate with one another. It's changing what we do on an individual scale to make money. We are now in this energy of, I want to support people that I feel like are just like me, that I can relate to, have a similar story, and aren't so outlandish with what they've created and how they're flaunting their wealth, that I just can't relate. That was very Pluto in Capricorn. We saw the Kardashians come to fame while Pluto was in Capricorn. This is the poster child of what I'm talking about, this energy of flaunting wealth and flaunting status. It's not going to work anymore. We want what's real, and we want, hey, how are you actually helping the problems we're facing as a society? Like, come down to our level and help us rise, because just flaunting your Rolls Royce and your Maybach isn't going to do it for us anymore. Like, this is the time where we all move away from these big brands and corporations and realize our power as consumers to be able to do so. Like she said in this original video, we're dictating what companies do and what companies sell based on what we actually want, and realizing, oh yeah, we actually do have the power because there are more of us than there are of these corporations and people that run them.
And we can vote with our dollars and actually see the change we want to make by doing so, by supporting these smaller creators, by shopping at farmers markets, by shopping at your local mom and pop stores. Like, this is what we're seeing happen in real time with Pluto and Aquarius. And I'm so here for it. Like, it's time. Where do you have Aquarius in your chart? Because this is the house, the area of life that's going to show up for you on a personal level for the next 15 years. Comment it below. Let's talk about it.
Meanwhile, over in the fall of the House of Kardashian, Kylie Jenner can't sell a home.
I've been telling y'all, the Pluto and Aquarius era is ending. And don't come at me in the comments and say, well, Pluto goes back into Capricorn for 2 months at the end of the year. Yeah, but it'll be retrograde. It's done. It's done. We're moving on. It's Pluto and Aquarius time, baby. All this status-based wealth that the Kardashians represent is dead. And this original video is just proof. Oh my God. Because this is not what we want as a society. This is not what breeds happiness and connection as a society. Yes, it's nice to have nice things. It's nice to be supported by money. But the Kardashians have just taken it over the top for too long. And we're sick of it. And I just made a video talking about how astrology shows us the timing of our lives. Let's look at what's going on for Kylie Jenner and the timing of her life based on her astrology. And before y'all ask me how I found her birth time, Google, baby. Google any celebrity's birth chart, and for the most part, it is there. So what's going on for Kylie right now is she is Saturn Capricorn ruled. She was thriving during the Pluto and Capricorn era that we are ending. She literally represents it. It is her identity and whole sense of self is Capricorn. Status-based wealth. Flaunting what you got. Flaunting what you worked hard for through material things. Pluto is moving through her house of money now. So she is going through a deep transformation and rebirth in her financial situation. And I don't want to scare any other Capricorn risings, okay? It doesn't mean you're going to go broke like Kylie Jenner. It just means you have to innovate and transform what you have been doing for money. That is aligned with where we're headed as a collective. Innovation, technology, humanity-based thing, bringing people together, community, establish belonging through technology and information. But she has been too focused on making people beautiful through fashion and beauty and all the other stuff. I don't even know what she's doing now. But if she innovates, if she does something that the people want and actually need, then she'll be golden. But I understand how hard it can be as a business owner myself to pivot completely out of what you have been doing and go into a new direction that's unfamiliar to you. But let's be real, that's what this time is calling for her to do. She has the South Node in her 10th house of career and public reputation. She is meant to, during this time, release a whole outdated public image and career for herself. She's also meant to, during this time, prioritize family, as she has the North Node in her area of home and family in the 4th house. And since she is Saturn ruled, her chart ruler is Saturn in Aries. And right now, Chiron, the wounded healer, the asteroid of bringing up your wounds to be healed, is on her Saturn. Anything that's on your chart ruler is going to affect your life as a whole, because that's the planet that rules your literal whole chart. She's in this big phase right now of wounds being brought up so that they initiate a change and a transformation in her. And that she really fully heals from this. I mean, have y'all seen that documentary on like what happened with the Russian czars that got famously murdered by the Russian, I don't know the exact names and terms. Please don't at me in the comments about this. But my point is that if you become so wealthy and you get removed from actual reality and you don't know how to relate to people anymore, that's a major danger zone red flag. And I feel like she's learning that right now because her whole empire is crashing and burning, and she's not able to recuperate because she's become so far removed from what people actually want and what people actually need in their lives. And that's how businesses thrive. Businesses thrive from providing value to the people, solving a problem that people need solved. We're so tired of the fake bullshit. We're so tired of the filler and the Botox and the lip kits or whatever the hell. Like, The overpriced fashion, we're tired of it because it doesn't actually add any value to our lives. It just feeds our ego. And so, of course, her whole empire is burning, crashing to the ground because that's not what people want anymore. What her whole businesses were revolved around isn't what people want anymore. And that is a big shift and transition we're in as a collective going into Pluto and Aquarius and leaving Pluto and Capricorn. And if they don't change with this change, then they're out. She also has Uranus squaring her sun right now. Uranus is in her area of creative passions, and it's in a challenging aspect to her sun in the 8th house of other people's resources. Real estate investments live in this area of your chart. No surprise that that's also going through a big shift and change unexpectedly for her and affecting her money. But again, like I said at the beginning, Aquarius rules her area of money. So if she really steps up and innovates, comes back down to reality of what most of us are experiencing in the world and solves a problem for us in that area, she might be able to bounce back from this, but I don't know. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments.
And just not fucking with celebrities anymore, like feeling like they're antagonizing us with their...
It's not a coincidence that we started to see a reappearance of this when Pluto moved back into Capricorn this summer. This is Pluto's final movement through Capricorn. No one alive today will see Pluto and Capricorn again. And what happened at the beginning of Pluto and Capricorn's transit? It was 2007, 2008. We had the housing crisis, recession, but we also had a rise to fame of the family most known for flaunting their status and wealth. Pluto and Capricorn in action, folks. We are seeing the downfall of this trend because Pluto is about to move into Aquarius and will be there for 20 years. Capricorn, again, is all about status. It's all about how things look, flaunting your wealth, and the power that that brings you. Aquarius is quite the opposite of all of those things. Aquarius is for the people. How are you providing a service to humanity to benefit the collective? Sharing knowledge, sharing genius ideas, innovations to make our life better, not just a series of elite people. Everyone's lives will improve with Pluto and Aquarius. And people that have nothing to flaunt but their wealth and their status and their fame probably aren't gonna make it if they're not changing their act to do things that actually are in alignment with the change that's coming. I've talked about this a lot in my Pluto playlist and when I talk about the US Pluto return. What's going to thrive during Pluto and Aquarius is heart-based capitalism, not the greed-based capitalism that we have seen, but providing a service intentionally from the heart to serve people. People sharing their gifts like Reiki, like astrology, like the Akashic Records, sound healing, breathwork, yoga, meditation, all of the things that have become more and more trendy over the last few years and are blowing up now because of Saturn and Pisces will be getting an even bigger boost when Pluto moves into Aquarius and stays there for 20 years. If you have a gift you want to share with the world, now is the time to start putting it out there because you are needed. And we are going to see a huge shift in values, the values of the collective when it comes to how we're circulating money and what we're paying for. No one really wants to see status anymore. They want to know what you're providing and how the value that you're contributing has a ripple effect beyond just you. If you have a dream or gifts you want to share, now is the time to do it. Let me know what that is for you in the comments because it's your time to shine.
Hollywood's so ticked off, pissed, and acting like a bunch of D-bags like
Pluto and Aquarius. The power is returning to us, you, the people. And this is honestly why they want to take TikTok away from us, so that they can continue to control who has the power. But even if they do, it is too late. We have already realized that we have the power to defund these corporations. We no longer want to stay afloat, to defund these celebrities we no longer want to support and put on the pedestal they've been on for however long. The truth is coming to light. That's what Pluto does. It brings out the truth so that a death and rebirth, a transformation can occur. This is just the beginning. Once Pluto goes back into Capricorn on September 1st, it's the final straw. Pluto will only be in Capricorn for a couple months from September 1st to November 15th, but we're going to see so much change, so much revolt in the next 2.5 months, 3 months, because people are done. Those of you with Aquarius placements, have you been feeling really easily frustrated and angry lately? Because y'all pick up on the collective energy because y'all pick up on the collective energy, and the collective is done with this bullshit. And we are now ready to bring that change into fruition. We are now ready as a collective to build the society we want, as opposed to just accepting society as it is and trying to fit into the box of it. No longer. Aquarius don't like boxes. We are creating new systems, new structures that not only serve us as individuals, but also serve the collective. And we're doing this from a very cutesy and mindful place, especially those of us that have not benefited from the system like these people in Hollywood have. Now's the time to rise up, to share yourself and your gifts, and create this change we all know is here, we're ready for, and we get to be a part of. What an exciting fucking time.
If somebody's gonna try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go f yourself.
This is a man that's ready for Pluto to move into Aquarius. He knows the power that we have as consumers. The corporations that we all deem as bad and greedy cannot exist if we are not consuming their products. This is how we can change the system and the structures at play. Capitalism is not the problem. Greed in these corporations is the problem, but they only exist, the corporations only exist and can become more and more greedy because we are feeding them our money. But there is no corporation without consumers. And we are starting to realize that. And when we do, the corporations that are greedy and wrong and bad, exploiting Earth and our society, will not last. They cannot last without consumers. This is what it means to vote with your dollars. And this is the biggest change we are going to see with the Pluto and Aquarius era, is people really only giving their dollars and their support to companies, to people, to businesses, to brands that are based in integrity and that match their values. And that is going to catalyze wealth distribution, the changing of where all of our money as a society is going. Because it will no longer be going to these greedy corporations, it will be going to people who mirror our values and our integrity and our intentions. This is really how we can truly make a difference in this world, is by not supporting the corporations that we demonize. Because it's not their fault that people are giving them money for their product. That is the only way a business thrives and grows. And that power lies with you, the consumer. And Elon is basically telling us that in this interview.
The Goop holiday guide is out, you guys. This is really saving my life this year, so we are starting off strong.
Oh, are we tired of this kind of shit? This is the end of the Pluto and Capricorn era, which we are currently experiencing as a collective. So Pluto went into Aquarius for the first time in 248 years. Back in March, it went back into Capricorn. Pluto went back to Capricorn after it had been in Aquarius. It went retrograde, so it appeared to move backwards from our place here on Earth. Went back into Capricorn on June 11th. And it is going to go back into Aquarius on January 20th. But we are already feeling this as a collective because, like I said, we are so tired of Pluto and Capricorn, because this is what Pluto and Capricorn has been all about. Buying expensive shit just for the status that it brings. Like, we're tired of it and it's dying. Rest in peace. The new wealth is here. What have people been saying? The wealth redistribution. It is happening with Pluto and Aquarius because of the internet, which the internet was born under Saturn in Aquarius, and it just had its Saturn return. The internet did. I'm talking about the internet now. But because of the internet, right, we have had access to unbelievable opportunity to create careers and income for ourselves through avenues that were never even thought of as existing, but now they do. And people are realizing they have this opportunity to have freedom of time, freedom of money, and their potential to earn money. Your potential to earn money with the internet is literally endless and inexhaustible. And this is what Pluto and Aquarius is bringing, a redistribution of wealth because of the unlimited possibility and potential that is available with the internet.
And we're going to start to see a really huge collective, massive rejection of using wealth for status, like the Kardashians. All that has grown and become popular over the last 15 years is dying. We're tired of it. We want real, we want authentic, we want people that are just like us to watch and follow and see rise above poverty. And it's happening. You're a part of it. This is what Pluto and Aquarius is bringing us. And we're really going to see this take hold over the next 2 to 3 years. And will be a theme for the next 20 years starting next year. Are you ready?
What we know of as celebrities is changing. The future, this is because Pluto is now in Aquarius and will be for the next 15 years, minus 2 months later this year. But what I see taking place is not these overarching celebrities that are known by the majority of us, but rather these smaller niche communities of people you can relate to and resonate with because they're authentic and they're providing you value in some way. That doesn't mean these people have to be labeled as humanitarians. It's more so people embracing their authenticity and sharing what they love. I'll give y'all a perfect freaking example. Y'all know my Astro board that I use in my weekly updates every Sunday. I found that board 2 years ago on TikTok because I saw someone making videos about how they just wanted one for themselves and they created it. And then so many people on TikTok loved it. They created a business around it. That's where my Astro board is from. I didn't make that. I do not have that skill. But someone did and they shared it and it blew them up. They have a whole business around it now, making those boards for people. This is what I'm talking about, and we need more people doing that. It is unsustainable to rely on like 3, corporations or businesses to get all of our things from. The big ones, Target, Walmart, Amazon. Like, it's unsustainable to rely on just those 3 corporations to provide us with the services and the products we need. So we are coming back to smaller people and bringing things more local. Does this make sense? I don't know that I'm articulating this well enough, but this is what Pluto and Aquarius is about, is using your innate skills and gifts to provide a service or product to your community and creating success through that. This is why I've said that job market is changing, because we're moving away from jobs that we hate just so we can get a paycheck. And we're all stepping into, how can I make money doing what I love and like not feel like it's work because I just love to do it so much. It's a passion I have and I just like want to do it. And of course it makes me money. Of course it helps me to be successful in whatever definition of success you have for yourself, right? So it's not about trying to fit yourself into a box to succeed during this era. It's about what is authentic to you. What do you want to do? What do you love to do? And how can you like see it as a way to be a career for you? Does that make sense? And the biggest advice too I can give you for how to go about this is, because we've experienced so much conditioning as a collective, and because there is so much in our culture about this is the only way to live. Go to college, get a degree, get a job. That's the only way to make money. It's the only way to survive. It's the only way to live. No, false. You have been trained to believe that's the only way to be true, but you have an innate guidance system. Your human design chart, which if you haven't heard, it's something I teach and have videos on. You can get your chart from my website, astrologyhumandesign.com, and learn about it, because that is your inner guidance system. And it's telling you how to align with your authenticity, how to succeed in the way that you're meant to succeed. Removed from all this conditioning and all this like bullshit of the matrix that has infiltrated our ways of being, our belief systems, and our mindsets. Human design helps you to connect back with who you really are and how to live your purpose by giving you a way to understand your unique energy and how your unique energy is meant to move through life, aligning with everything that's best for you. Following my human design is how I have built a successful astrology and human design business over the last 4 years. I'm a college dropout. Like, I shouldn't be successful. After dropping out of college, I just worked customer service jobs here and there for many, many, many years, often having 2 or 3 jobs at once. But because I learned about my human design and I started living it, it led me here. It led me out of that lifestyle, and you can do it too. This is the beauty and magic of understanding yourself through the lens of this system. Astrology is your roadmap, but human design is your directions. And that's all you really need to do to succeed in this era of Pluto and Aquarius. Live your true self, which human design teaches you. Do you already know yours? Let's chat about it below. One of my favorite things about the Pluto and Aquarius transit that we're now in is the prevalence of people starting to create content and literally go viral on TikTok and other social media platforms. The prevalence of social media and the internet, especially TikTok, and just how TikTok's algorithm works, has leveled the playing field in terms of people that are able to create fame for themselves and success for themselves just by showing up on this app. I work with a lot of business owners and aspiring entrepreneurs who want to create content, but the biggest thing I hear from them about what they're scared of is getting hate comments. And this brings me back to my original point of this video, is this is my favorite thing about Pluto and Aquarius. Because yes, while hate comments may bring up stuff in yourself to heal, it also boosts your content. Did y'all see the Ashley Madison documentary? Like, what I got from that was there's literally no such thing as bad press. And all of the hate that they've gotten created their success. And it's no different on social media. People that hate on your videos are literally boosting them. They're having the opposite effect of what the person writing the hate comment wants it to have, which is hilarious to me. So it's all helpful for you. It's all adding to your success. And it's all building you up no matter what the actual content of the comment is. I fucking love this world that we live in.
15-year-old kid from Ohio with nothing more than an iPhone 6 and a 7th grade education is going viral on TikTok while you're
I've been telling y'all. It's Pluto in Aquarius, Pluto in Aquarius. The insecure part of me wants to cut out that singing, but I'm gonna leave it because it's authentic, it's real. And I'm real excited to talk about this, even though I've been talking about it for a while. It never gets old because this is the future. For the last 15 years, since 2008, Pluto has been in Capricorn, and that has prompted us as a society to be focused on status, structure, planning, curation, consumerism. Like, Instagram thrived during this period because Instagram is all about curation and making things look perfect, portraying that you are of a certain status because everything on your feed looks perfect. But that is not what Aquarius is all about. Aquarius values authenticity. It values realness, rawness, and showing people that you're also a human being. Relatability. This is why the old paradigms of marketing and business, especially when it comes to social media, are not working and they're no longer relevant, really. This has been such a huge theme of all of my one-on-one sessions lately. I mostly help entrepreneurs to get started or to grow in their businesses to be more successful. And the number one thing that I've been telling people lately is you don't need a plan. You don't need to have all of these things curated perfectly before you start doing. Some of the biggest businesses that have been built and are standing today and are successful today started by someone sharing their passion for whatever it is they do with the world. And most of these people that have risen out of rags and into riches didn't do that because they started with a perfect website and a perfect business plan. No, they just started sharing their gifts. And that is the number one thing that most people don't do because they think that they need to have all of this perfect stuff on the internet before they can do that. No, if you want to start a tarot business, you need to start sharing your tarot readings on the internet by showing up live on TikTok, by making videos on YouTube or TikTok or wherever, because that's how you're going to establish authority as a tarot reader and be known for what you do. If you have a perfect website but no one knows who you are because you never show up, guess what? No one's going to find your website and no one's going to buy from you. You're not going to build a business. How you build a business is by showing up and doing what you love to do and sharing it. The rest will come. You don't need an LLC. You don't even need a website these days. Like, you don't need any of that to start with. You just need to start showing up. You don't even need a business coach or a marketing professional to help you. You literally just need to share yourself on social media. It is so stupid simple, but we make it something it's not in our minds because of the old paradigm. It's dead, it's gone. Start showing yourself and your authenticity and your humanness, and I promise you will be blown away by what you're capable of by just doing that and what comes from it. Do you feel like the internet is changing? I've definitely noticed it on my For You page, like with the prevalence of all the ads. I'm not even going to get into that. But there is a very big transition happening right now in our society on this planet, and it's showing up on the internet naturally. I mean, the internet is really just a reflection of humanity as a whole anyways. But this isn't a normal transition. The United States just had their final phase of the Pluto return, and we're really starting to see the external results of that and the external energy of that since Pluto has been direct after its retrograde cycle for the past 6 months. And on January 21st of next year, Pluto moves into Aquarius.
Now, Pluto has already been into Aquarius for 3 to 4 months this past year, but it's going to spend more time in Aquarius next year, and we're really going to start to see this transition taking hold. This is going to affect the internet, our society, our collective, and most importantly, the workforce. How you can personally take advantage of this time and this transition that we're in is by showing up on the internet. You might not see the results that you want or may expect to see at this time because of this transition and great change, but what you're putting out right now and really for the whole month of November is going to lay a foundation and structure for you to thrive once this transition and change that's happening takes hold. You will be better prepared for it because through putting out content, creating stuff, putting yourself out there now, you're going to learn what to do and how to be better at what you're doing. So just know that if you are starting to create and put more stuff on social media, it might not do super well this month, but you will learn a lot about yourself, your creation process, and you will gain so much knowledge, wisdom, and confidence about all of it. And when Pluto does move into Aquarius, you will be prepared because you will have literal experience to go off of to create your success with whatever it is that you're doing. Now is the time to take action. Even if it feels like it's not going to lead anywhere, it is. Trust in the process and trust that you're building your future, even if it just feels like you're throwing spaghetti at the walls.
This is like very Aquarius energy, right? It's how can you break out of the paradigms that have been in place? How can you establish new paradigms for yourself? How can you innovate? My favorite keyword when it comes to Aquarius energy is like innovation. How can you bring innovation to your life? I mean, there's obviously a whole lot of other things going on in the sky. It's not just Pluto. I say this all the time. We can't just isolate one placement, but this is the biggest shift we're all experiencing right now because no other planet is about to change signs. I talked about this in my 2024 update. The only other planet that's shifting this year is Jupiter. And so this is like the biggest shift that's occurring in our lives. Last year it was Saturn because Saturn had been in Aquarius, right, for 2.5 years and it moved into Pisces. This is such a huge shift that we're all experiencing. And I can like feel it. And like I shared with y'all, it's happening in my life. I'm moving. I literally, my last week has been so jam-packed with like scheduling showings at places and just trying to find my next home. And it's like, felt like a full-time job just by how much I've scoured the internet and like made plans to view places. And it's a whole thing. So wherever you have had Pluto and wherever Pluto is now, I want y'all to like really look at that and really deep dive on like, okay, how's this showing up for me? What are the action steps I can take? For me, the move was like at the back of my head. I was like, yeah, I want to move eventually. When Pluto moved into Aquarius, I was like, no, it's happening now. I need to expand. I need to innovate. I need to change the situation so that I can really step more into my joy and my excitement. Also is what this time is about and what a lot of us just got clarity around at the time of the full moon that we just had in Leo. And we're about to have a new moon in Aquarius.
Does it just feel so fucking weird? Like,
if y'all haven't seen my last 2 videos, after we talk about this, go watch them because they're all related to this and naturally it's all related to each other. So Pluto is moving into Aquarius finally this year. It will be until 2043, almost 20 years. We do have a Pluto and Capricorn like little revisitation from September to November, but then Pluto will move back into Aquarius in November and be there until 2043. And Pluto in Aquarius is bringing a lot of change to our society and specifically the structures and systems we have in place in our world. Because Aquarius's rulers are Saturn, system and structures, and Uranus, chaos, innovation, change. Pluto, the unveiler of truth and secrets and the planet of transformation and death and rebirth, is bringing that energy to our systems, our structures, and how we function as a society and the innovations we need to make in order to function better and to be reborn. And change is very chaotic. It is not easy. And it is usually not very fast either. When I learned how intuitive I was back in 2021 and I really started to live in alignment with my intuition and trust these like hits and downloads and nudges I was getting around certain things, most of the major ones I was getting back then, and this is not to scare anyone, this is just be prepared for what's coming because I've now seen it happen and
It's ineffable. I'm at a loss for words. I don't even know how I feel about the fact that I intuited that these things were happening and now they are. So one of the major things that I heard back in 2021 was there's going to be a lot of natural disasters, and there's going to be food shortages. There's going to be changes to the food supply. I don't know if y'all have noticed, but lately, grocery shopping, the produce I get goes bad really fast, which I'm not against, because I do shop for organic produce, and it shouldn't last forever. That was odd to begin with, but it should not be the case that I buy potatoes and the next day, because I didn't use them, they're sprouting. That's not normal and not okay. And that's what's been happening lately. So that tells me already, just without knowing anything else, that, oh, something's going on with the food. There is a shortage of supply somewhere, somehow, because that's not normal. And I think this is why we're seeing an increase in costs as well. There's less supply, but demand has stayed the same, so costs have to rise. I don't know if y'all have seen about Eastern Idaho and what's going on with the farms in Idaho right now too, but that's a part of this and gonna cause a huge ripple effect of not good shit in our food supply if something isn't done about it quickly. Have y'all seen about the car market? Recalibrated itself in the last 6 to 8 months because it was overinflated after COVID and 2021 and 2022, and we're about to see that happen with the housing market as well. Lots of negative equity, people defaulting on payment. Yeah, it's not great. Not to even mention inflation, and wages are not catching up to inflation. The system is crumbling. It is literally falling apart before our freaking eyes. Okay, so what do we do about this, right? Food security, if you can garden, or if you know someone that has garden space or a plot in a local garden, starting a business to create another source of income for yourself, removed from relying on these corporations, diversifying your income streams. Listen to your intuition. None of this is this is what you need to do. Where you are, your life circumstances, your life story are dependent on what is best for you to do at this time to navigate through these changes. So listen to your intuition. What you're drawn to, what you're led to, what you feel called to do is what's right for you. No one else can tell you what that is. Another thing I recommend is getting an alternative mode of transportation, whether that's an electric scooter, electric bike, road bike, being somewhere where you can walk to places, because shit's only gonna get weirder. But if you're prepared, it won't be that bad. And we'll get through it to rebuild the systems and structures that we've needed in our society for far too long. It's just Pluto and Aquarius in general. A lot of us are breaking out of a corporate structure system in order to make money, because that's very Pluto and Capricorn. And we were very much living from that Capricorn energy, because we had a lot of outer planets in Capricorn for a really long time in the late 1900s, which is crazy for me to say because I was born then. And then that kind of bled into the collective, especially when Pluto was in Capricorn. And so we're all kind of breaking out of that system and out of those structures. I did a whole class in my membership on the changing workforce because of Pluto and Aquarius. It's just creating more entrepreneurs, people who are breaking out of corporate structures and systems, realizing the lie that we've all been fed, that we have to work for someone else to be secure, basically. And coming back to heart-centered entrepreneurship and services and sharing our gifts with the world in a way that's intentional. I foresee as well people creating communities, small towns becoming more of a thing again, people leaving cities and creating their own kind of towns where people share their gifts with each other. If y'all have ever read Atlas Shrugged, the end of that book, it's kind of that's a time period we're fucking in right now. Let's just call it what it is. That's the time period we're in, where people are leaving the structured world that's crumbling and falling to create new worlds based around community.
The mother of all layoffs has arrived. The term operational...
I've been telling y'all, Pluto and Aquarius is bringing the changes to the workforce. We are in the biggest transitional period a lot of us have seen since we've been on this planet. Not only is the United States finishing their Pluto return this year, but Pluto is about to wrap up a 250-year cycle. What does that mean? Big, massive change on the horizon for humanity. This is really all just a build-up into 2027. when we shift from the human design incarnation cross of planning into the sleeping phoenix. And Pluto in gate 41 initiates a new codon sequence in our DNA, genetic mutation. This is such a big deal for humanity, but specifically the workforce. I did a class on this in my membership community, talking about how this shift of Pluto into Aquarius is really going to affect our workforce and what people are doing to make money. Because for the last 15 years, we have been focused on structure, discipline, traditional ways of making money that arguably were passed down to us and are the result of conditioning and weren't made to last to begin with. But those of us that aren't used to doing things differently to make money and like figuring out ways to be entrepreneurial or like innovation focused when it comes to how we're making money are gonna have it really difficult. If you've been following me for a while, you know I've been talking about this for a while and how important it is to have an entrepreneurial mindset through this big shift, or just in general have an innovative mindset of like, okay, how can I pivot? Because that's all the time period we're in, and doing things like we have been doing them is not gonna work anymore. For most of us, it's just not. I literally have been seeing such amazing examples of this lately. I drove to the city last week and was at this major intersection stoplight, and all of a sudden all these guys come up with like those squeegee things to wipe off people's windshields, and they like wipe off half of everybody that stopped at the stoplight's windshield, maybe even more than half. I didn't watch like who all they went to, but they probably charge for that service and make a ton of money every 5 minutes when the light is red and they have customers there to wash their windshields. Like, y'all, this is exactly what I'm talking about. How can you be innovative and capitalize on opportunities that maybe you didn't see before to make money? I've been an entrepreneur for about 7 years, and I have pivoted so many times when something stopped working for me. And that's the kind of mindset we have to have during this I don't want to call it a crisis, but during this big time of transition. Of like, how else can I make money, and how can I take this matter into my own hands as opposed to relying on other people to accept my job application in order to get paid like 4 weeks from now once you get onboarded and trained and blah, 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 blah. Like it's bullshit, and that is the outdated system that is crumbling for most of us. We are moving into a time period where your gifts, your services, what you can bring to society, your community are needed. And it might take a little bit to figure out what that is. I know for me, it took a couple of years of trial and erroring and to like figuring out what I liked versus what I didn't, and what worked for me versus what didn't. But that's ultimately how I've gotten here, created a successful business teaching astrology and human design. And this has been my full-time thing for 3 or 4 years. And truly anyone can do this. Anything is possible with the internet. What you want to do is never too saturated. You don't even really need to niche down. You just need to try out different things and see what works and what you love the best. Do you already have an idea of what that is? Let's chat about it in the comments. This has been a huge topic lately in the live Q&As I've been doing in my membership community. So if you want to learn how to make the most of this, come join the conversation, come join the community.
Did anyone else notice all the layoffs that just happened in like last 2 days? Let's go down the list.
If there is one thing that Scorpio season brings us as a collective, it is the cutting down and renewal of resources. Specifically, we talk about money. Here is a screenshot of the astrology transits from November 9th. I do a weekly astrology update every single week where I talk about these, and the one I just posted at the time that I'm filming this, the week of the 13th, a big theme that came up was the fact that we have the Sun and Mars opposite Uranus and Taurus right now. The Taurus-Scorpio axis rules money and resources. The fact that on this day, Mercury moved into Sagittarius, where it was in a challenging aspect to Saturn and Pisces, means that there were communication around restrictions involving finances. And what do massive corporations and companies do when they have restrictions around finances? Layoffs. We are really starting to see something that I've been talking about on my, almost a channel like this is YouTube, on my page here and in many videos about Pluto and Capricorn. How it is really changing our workforce and forcing people to truly align with their passions as opposed to just being a corporate workhorse, like we have all been trained to do for the last 20 to 30 years, maybe even longer, but I haven't been around that long, so I don't know. But Pluto moving from Capricorn and into Aquarius for the second time in January is bringing a change and transformation to all of that. This is the time of the people fighting for ourselves, for our dream, especially with Saturn and Pisces. We are all working right now to commit ourselves to a passion and a dream that we've probably had our whole lives, and realizing that you can make money from it because of the power of the internet. And next year in 2024, when we have a Jupiter-Uranus conjunction in Taurus, the sign of money, there will be a very big opportunity for massive change, probably sudden, unexpected change that results in your
abundance that is more aligned with your passion, your value, and what you just love to do. This is the energy, the type of energy that leads us up to what looks like an overnight success. If you have been working hard towards your dream and making it a reality and staying disciplined and committed to it, next year when we have the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction is the energy of massive change in your favor. I'm talking about things like going viral, suddenly getting a massive following because you've been dropping things into your cup and all of a sudden it is going to be overflowing. This is the compound effect and you are going to see results in the next 6 to 8 months. So just keep going. And if you haven't started yet, why? Now is the time to do so. We can no longer rely on external sources to support us. We have to build it for ourselves. What is that for you? Let me know in the comments. I don't think layoffs are gonna get better. Here's why, and here's my prediction. I plan to talk about this in my next live I'll be doing in my Astro HD community. I go live in there every single Thursday. Since Pluto went back into Aquarius, we're seeing this more and more and more, and it's not going to stop. I'm going to tell you a story of how I started the business I have now, because I really feel like this is where we're headed as a collective, is becoming small business owners. It's really not that hard at all to start a business, and you don't need all of the things people are telling you you need. It is so easy to share your gifts with the world and make money from it. That's all being a small business owner is. And with the power of the internet, we all have unlimited potential to do that, to share our gifts and to make money with it, to change the hands of where the wealth is, and to do good with the money we receive from sharing our services, our gifts, our knowledge, being an entrepreneur. We are in the age of entrepreneurship, but I didn't even know that was something I wanted to do. I just was a college dropout that didn't want to work for other people and didn't want to work 40 hours because that is a third of your life and you spend another third of your life sleeping. So like, why is anyone trying to go back to that kind of life? That was not for me. And so I found another way. And here I am like 8 years later. That's really what the transits are pushing us to do as a collective right now, is to pursue other avenues of making money. When I started my first business, I was doing all of these kinds of things, odd end jobs. I was dog walking, I was house sitting, I was also doing health and fitness coaching. I made a recipe ebook. I was making videos for YouTube. There are so many things you can do to create money. And this old paradigm of the only way to make money is to get a job working for someone else is dying. Companies are utilizing technology to cut down on their payroll, to cut down on their workforce. And not only that, a whole lot of new jobs are emerging into the workforce. We don't even know what they are yet. We don't even have names for them yet. This is such a new phenomenon, and this shift is such a big one that it's going to take some time. Utilize the resources available to you and be open to finding another way. When my job was ripped out from under me because my first business was failing, I had gotten another job because of that. When that was ripped out from under me because of lockdowns, I was like, okay, what am I passionate about? I'm just going to start sharing it with people. At the time, that was tarot. I was just teaching myself tarot and I just loved it so much. I was like, I'm going to do some readings for friends and send them to them. They resonated so much with the readings I sent them that gave me the confidence to share my readings publicly on Instagram. So I went live on Instagram every day, did a little daily update reading with the tarot cards. Sometimes I would talk about astrology because I was just like getting into the deeper stuff in astrology back then as well. People started asking me how much I charge for readings to bring in their astrology chart. I also did crystal grid. So it was like I found ways to make money based on what I was already into and what I was already doing. That is the future, and the future is here now. We can't rely on these other corporations or these other external things to provide for us anymore. With the North Node in Aries, with Jupiter in Taurus, with Uranus in Taurus, the workforce is changing, our finances, our money is changing, how we receive money is changing, what we're doing to make money is changing. We're being called to move in a new direction and be pioneers of these new industries and these new workforces. For so many of us, that's going to be starting a business, providing a service based on your passion or what you see is needed in the world today. Money follows value. So how can you provide value? Where do you see a need that can be filled by something you know about or something you want to create? And how can you do it? Like, put it into the world. That's the future.
Gen Z is prioritizing living over working because they've seen the legacy of broken promises.
And this is going to seriously change our society for the better. Because of Pluto's movement into Aquarius, we are going to start to see workforces, new jobs, new industries, new businesses come up that never existed before. So many of these new things are going to be developing in the next 10 to 20 years that will become standard. But a lot of those jobs aren't a thing right now. We don't really know what it's going to look like yet because we're just in the beginning stages of all of this. And so the people that are ahead of the curve are going to come out on top. If you have been getting any intuitive or inspirational ideas around a business to start or just something to do, something to create, something to put out into the world, do it. This is the time. When Henry Ford wanted to create the V8 engine, people thought he was crazy. When he wanted to quit his nice job to pursue making cars, people said he was crazy. When Steve Jobs created the Mac, people said he was crazy. He was literally fired from Apple because he was trying to push this idea and it was rejected so much. Whatever you have an idea around to create that maybe you think is crazy or other people around you would think is crazy, do it. It is going to bring you so much success and fulfillment. And create sustainability in your finances. We are realizing as a collective that the American dream that has been sold to us and that a lot of us have bought into is actually really shitty. And I saw another video earlier today that was saying the retirement age is going to be pushed back. So like, why are we killing ourselves to work for other people? This is literally the paradigm that's ending. The structure is changing, the system is collapsing, and a new one is going to take its place. And heart-centered entrepreneurs are going to thrive and take over. And this is how we shift the power dynamics at play in the system that is ruling most of our lives right now. So start the small business, write that book, create the course, like do the things that are on your heart to do because they are going to succeed in this era. You have a guidance system that is literally telling you what is meant for you. That's your intuition talking to you. And we can look at what this is based on what your human design authority is and how yours shows up for you. And it's so important right now more than ever that you follow your human design authority. You learn how to live it. If you need to get your human design chart and you want help with it, link is in my bio. This is what I do. I teach you how to read your charts so that you are empowered with this knowledge and you can use it to make your life better and make your dream a reality. Now is the time. What is yours? Let me know in the comments. Y'all, I went skiing today and experienced the most Pluto and Aquarius thing I think I have ever experienced. So back when I started skiing in like the early 2000s and really up until today, you could go to a resort and go to the desk and buy a lift ticket for the day. And they would print it out right there and give it to you. You would pay there and everything. Now, with certain resorts where I live, you can only buy a lift ticket online. They don't sell them in person anymore. This is so Pluto and Aquarius of like things becoming more technological and ruling out jobs altogether in certain industries, certain workforces. And this is what I was talking about a few videos ago. I think I filmed it yesterday. It's in this playlist. I have so many videos on this in this playlist where I talk about this. This is a big part of how the workforce is changing and why we need to realize that we have the power to do our own thing and pursue our own thing and share our life and our gifts and provide value to the world and make a career and make money from that. Because the old ways of making money of just normal jobs that people would have are like literally becoming extinct as we know it. And so the only way to secure job security for yourself is to be an entrepreneur and to start a business. Because everything is becoming automated. Everything is becoming heavily reliant on technology and not so much on customer service things anymore. This is why we're seeing so many self-checkouts in grocery stores. And like I said, the automated buy a lift ticket process, it's not going to change. It's going to get really extreme in that direction of everything becoming reliant on technology, like do it yourself so that companies can reduce their payroll bill. This is going to result in the loss of a lot of jobs. But a lot of new jobs are going to, pop up because of this. And like I said, a lot of people are going to feel called to start businesses and do their own thing and pursue entrepreneurship, which we really, really need as a society because the old system is so outdated and it's crumbling every single day. Have you noticed anything like this in your day today? Let me know.
Plan on having to work until they're 70.
They should plan on their retirement age being increased, yeah.
All right, I mentioned this video in another video I just posted about Pluto and Aquarius and how the workforce is changing and how we are seeing our work life and career in general is changing completely as well. Like, why should you have to go hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt to maybe or maybe not get a job that you're gonna end up hating and having to give a third, 30%, 1/3 of your life away to by working 40 hours a week at it and still barely able to get by when there are so many other options. Like, my algorithm is trained to show me content like this at this point, but so I understand that not everyone's is, but there are so many ways to get wealthy and none of them require any of that process that we have been sold, literally sold. Colleges are businesses to make us slaves for the workforce, for corporations, and to further their corporate greed. But what if you could work less and make more doing what you love by being an entrepreneur or a business owner? Why aren't we sold that option? Because it doesn't benefit the corporate greed of the workforce that has been created, the system that's currently in place. But the system is changing because Pluto is in Aquarius. I swear there are so many ways to make money, and like I said, my feed constantly is showing me these things. If you're new to this, I really suggest looking it up on YouTube. The ways to make money are endless. And I don't know if you can hear that chainsaw in the background. I feel like it's just confirmation. I'm on an inspirational tangent right now and I'm not going to stop recording just because there's a chainsaw. But literally the ways to make money on the internet, especially with the rise of social media and how we can utilize the internet to make money and save us so much time and energy and make money for you. That is like goes into your pocket, not making money for someone else in a job that you hate that suffocates your soul, right? This is the future that we're heading into with Pluto and Aquarius. And now is the time to start. Now is the time to put yourself out there, put your ideas out there, create the thing you want to do, even if it might seem crazy. Like, you're the only you that exists and that can only do what you do in the way that you do it. It starts with thinking you have something valuable to share because you do, and just putting it out there, just trying things out until something sticks. If you need guidance, I really suggest looking into your human design. This is something that I teach. I have a chart calculator you can use to find out your chart, a free guide that will tell you more about it. What you want to focus on is how to use your human design authority, because that is how you're meant to make decisions based on your unique gifts and energy. And that is going to align you with everything that is meant for you, your purpose, your dreams, fulfillment, satisfaction, success. Everything that's meant for you will come to you when you're following your strategy and authority. But more importantly, your authority, okay? Following my human design authority is how I have created a multiple six-figure business. I literally just did what was exciting me and shared it with people, and here I am 4 years later. If I can do it, a college dropout from West Virginia, so can you. And now is the time! The old system is outdated and it's crumbling. Rise above it and you will succeed no matter what. Comment your questions below if you already know what this is for you that you're building. Let me know.
Percent of the US population is brainwashed into believing that working 50.
We are in the age of entrepreneurship. North Node is in Aries for the next year and a half, give or take a couple months. Saturn is in Pisces for the next 2 years, give or take a couple months. And Pluto is about to enter Aquarius for the next 20 years. All of this means that big change is coming to how we have structured our lives and what we are choosing as a collective to take action on and to initiate. Before, that used to be the American dream. We were living in the Pluto and Capricorn era. Go to college, get a house, get married, have kids. Like this original creator says, work a job for 50 years to have maybe 10 to 15 years of retirement when you're old. All that is changing. This is the time to pursue your dream. Saturn and Pisces, as long as you are disciplined and committed to whatever your dream or vision is, it will thrive and be successful. More and more people are pursuing their creativity, Pisces, starting new ventures, North Node and Aries, that are going to transform and innovate the collective and how we function as a society, Pluto and Aquarius. The cult, the taboo, alternate healing modalities, all of that stuff is coming to light. Spirituality is starting to trend more and more and more and will continue to do so. over the next 20 years until it becomes a foundation of knowledge and how we function as a society. It will become a part of our core values. And you, if you have a dream or vision that is aligned with any of those things, are a pioneer of that. Whatever you've been feeling like pursuing that is different and goes against the normal grain of society, do it. It is going to pay off. This is the time period that we are in as a collective, breaking down the old, outdated social norms and structures and putting new ones in place. What do you feel your contribution is? Let me know in the comments. The change is here, y'all.
People buy from people, not brands. Nobody wants to follow a brand account. I would much rather follow a
After I did my Pluto and Aquarius video the other day, I got a lot of questions like this. How to be successful with Pluto and Aquarius. This is how, this creator's original video. Being authentic, being a personal brand. That is how you're going to show your authenticity and be successful in whatever you're doing. Showing the behind the scenes content, showing your literal story, not just the end result. People don't want highlight reels anymore. That's why people are fed up with Instagram and so many people are flooding to TikTok. TikTok is authentic. People are showing up being themselves, and those people are gaining millions of followers because people want to see other people. And this is the Pluto and Aquarius era that we are entering into. Are you like me? Do you make me feel like I can belong? Can I relate to you and your authenticity? I work with a lot of entrepreneurs in my membership, and they ask the same question. Should I have 2 accounts, one my business account, the other one my personal account? No. People want to see your personal life, your personal journey, and again, that they can relate to you and that in your authenticity, you are just like them. It builds connection, it builds trust, and it builds a sense of belonging, which Aquarius is all about. This is the future. Little niche community that people have built by being themselves and just sharing themselves rawly and fully on the internet. Dying are the whole putting celebrities and famous people on pedestals. It's dying, okay? We are moving into an era of authenticity and of bringing people who have built something, who are successful, who are famous, down to our level. Oh my God, if they can do what they did and they have the same situation or story as me, then I can do it too. That's what we're moving into, and that's what we're going to see blow up over the next 20 years. That's what is going to be successful. And that is going to create the biggest transfer of wealth we've probably ever seen on this planet. So start sharing yourself, start sharing your story, start sharing your thought. You never know where it can lead you. Have you already been doing this? Do you have an idea of what you want to start talking about on social media? If you haven't yet, let me know in the comments.
That we don't know how much longer this business is going to last.
Well, we here. I got it. Let's try.
If y'all haven't seen this video, oh my God, I can't keep the smile off my face because this is so Pluto and Aquarius. The power being returned to our hands. We get to decide what businesses run and thrive and what businesses don't. The power of making a single video about something in your life that you want to change, having pure intentions with that, it going viral, and it literally changing your life. Now, I don't know what has happened since Keith Lee did his whole video about this, but it has millions of views. I can only imagine that the restaurant has lines out the door now because he is the food connoisseur of TikTok. But this is the power of potential and what is possible when we band together to support something we love as human beings in the society that we live in, where our dollars can create change. And not just our dollars, but our voice and our support of something. It is so beautiful to see in real time the positives of this Pluto and Aquarius shift. And it's only going to get bigger. It's only going to get more expanded. I was walking around town this past weekend, and there was like this whole rummage sale going on where this neighborhood was throwing basically like a yard sale of every house in the neighborhood was setting up a stand and selling things from their house. And so many people were selling pottery they made or jewelry they made. And it was so cool to see. Like, that's so Pluto and Aquarius of people creating things and providing it to their community in whatever way. That is the future, and I'm so excited to see it in real time. Have you seen any examples of this in your world? Let's chat about it in the comments.
Kroger executive admits company gouged prices above inflation.
All of this is just the catalyst for Pluto and Aquarius, and we're really going to see the Pluto and Capricorn era come crumbling down with all of this stuff being exposed, truth coming out, secrets coming out about how these corporations are just greedy as fuck and abusing the privilege of serving us that we have given them, because literally we fund these corporations. If none of us shopped at Kroger anymore, they would go bankrupt. That's how they get their money. That's how capitalism works. That's a beauty of capitalism that I don't often see us talking about, is that we get to vote with our dollar and defund the corporations we don't want to see succeed anymore because they're doing bullshit like this. And it comes down to us making those decisions and those choices. And also, this is going to catalyze more reliance on our local neighborhoods and communities, people growing and making their own food and supplying it to the community, to the neighborhood, versus us going to a grocery store that's 30 minutes away to get all of the stuff. We're returning back to our roots. We're doing it ourselves. And everyone has a skill they can provide in that community, in that neighborhood. One person can grow the wheat and make the bread. One other person can grow the fruit. One other person can grow the vegetable. One other person has a ranch and they can harvest the meat. You know, it's like, this is what our future is going to look like, is less relying on these big corporations and companies that we've hated the whole time, at least while I've been alive, and replacing them with our own. What are your thoughts? Let's chat about it.
Is going away from really the traditional way of life before people start running in.
Pluto and Aquarius. The generation he's talking about that were sold a new, better way of life are Gen X. And most of the Gen X generation were born under the Pluto and Libra transit, at least those born from around 1970 to 1984. And the Pluto and Libra generation, a lot of them also had Uranus and Libra too. And Libra energy really glamorizes a certain kind of lifestyle, especially having the outer planets like Pluto and Uranus there. That energy encompassed a whole generation, or at least a very large part of one generation. Talking about Gen X. And those of us who were raised by Gen X, for the most part, were born under the Neptune-Uranus Capricorn conjunction, and with Pluto and Scorpio. Pluto and Scorpio values realness and change of a psychological nature. That's why most of us are very well-read and well-versed on psychology, mental disorders, anxiety, all of that started to come to light because of the millennials that were born under that transit. And with Uranus and Neptune in Capricorn, our spiritual values and values around the change we want to see in our society are rooted in a more traditional way of life, which is Capricorn energy. We're also really here to bring awareness and truth to how people, especially people that were born under the outer planets in Libra, like Pluto or Uranus, and are the Gen Xers, and have this very different approach to wealth and status that's rooted in vanity, that's rooted in image. We see this with the Kardashians. The millennials are really bringing that to light of like, we don't want to perpetuate this. We want to perpetuate and base our society in more traditional values, like what he talks about in this video. Making things from scratch, starting to raise food at your home, bringing back values from a traditional lifestyle. And Pluto and Aquarius is really going to bring us that innovation as well, because we're going to start to realize, I mean, we already have started to realize, but the change is really going to take hold with Pluto and Aquarius. We've started to realize that giving our focus and money to perpetuating things that are based in status and vanity is not how we want to live. Consumerism, a lot of Gen Xers are very rooted in things. Like, I see this with my parents a lot, like, no shade, but my parents are low-key hoarders and they consume. They're constantly buying things. And we've really seen with the millennials a focus on minimalism with those traditional values. And obviously this is a very large generalization, you know, but those general themes have come from that generation. And with Pluto and Aquarius, we are coming back to our roots. We're coming back to, okay, what is real and true for us? What is the legacy that we want to leave this world with? How can we do things that benefit our humans, our children, the humans that are already here, as well as the earth? How can we work in greater harmony with all that is around us, as opposed to just consuming to appeal a certain status or how things look? And another way to say this is, like, there is no need to fix what wasn't broken. Like, their traditional way of life wasn't broken. It's worked for the whole time, most of the time that humans have been on this planet, and we're coming back to that right now. And realizing that
Happiness doesn't lie in consumption. It doesn't lie in things. It doesn't lie in buying things for status and flaunting wealth that way. Happiness lies in connection, and true fulfillment comes from having more traditional values. Like I said, raising food at your home, starting to learn how to cook things from home and make things from scratch. Like I, as an example, have taken up knitting again, and it is so fulfilling to pick out my yarn and knit myself a scarf, and then I have a new scarf. And I don't only appreciate that scarf more, but I appreciate what goes into the things that I do buy, and I'm much more conscious over what I buy, what I consume, and how much I have. So, change is here. How does this resonate with you? Let me know.
Tired of being so disconnected from our foods. We're tired of being fed fact.
Pluto in Aquarius. If y'all have seen my other videos on Pluto and Aquarius, you know I've been talking about this for a while. All the other videos live in this playlist at the bottom of the screen. And I'll put a whole compilation video on YouTube, so come follow me there and look out for that soon. This is a huge shift we are all experiencing as a society, especially in the United States, because in the United States we have gotten so far removed from our food. It is a massive systemic issue. I've been traveling in mostly France and Italy for the last 2 months, and let me tell y'all, that is not a problem here. Food is so fresh. Everything is grown and made usually in the region or close by. There's no like it travels 20 hours like it does in the United States. That's why we have so much preservatives in our food in the United States, because we have moved out of rural areas and into urban areas. So we've had to outsource our food because people stopped growing food. When we used to live in smaller villages, there would be people in those villages that made the bread or, you know, produce the meat or produce the cheese or whatever. Now we're all relying on these massive corporations to do it for us. And our bodies are smart. That's why there are such health issues in the US as well. It's all a part of it. It's all connected. This creator goes into it really well. Gives practical examples in her story. I have been a health nut for like 10 years because I used to be vegan, and that really dove me deep into our food, where it comes from, how it's made. And the combination of Pluto and Aquarius and Uranus and Taurus is pulling us out of that broken food system that we have lived in for almost 100 years. We are returning to homesteading. We are returning to people growing their own food and making things from scratch. And Nara Smith is a perfect example of this and how it's becoming trendy to make your own food and grow your own food. We're going to see a prevalence of this as well starting next year when the North Node moves into Pisces and the South Node will be in Virgo. Those signs rule the health and wellness axis. And the nodes represent the season of life we're in and focused on as a collective. Right now, for the past year and a half or so, it has been relationships and independence, right? People are talking about masculinity, femininity. Share 7 has blown up. Starting next year, it's going to be health stuff and spirituality, because I believe they're deeply connected. If you're not feeding your body right and you're not feeding your mind right, you're gonna be all kinds of fucked up. The two are very deeply intertwined for me, because again, Pisces is spirituality and Virgo is health and food. And like I said, with Uranus and Taurus, also rules food and the earth and growing cycles. Uranus represents change and innovation, and we are realizing we can no longer rely on the food systems and sources that we have created and been relying on, and we need to create our own. We need to get back to that, living off the land and being more connected to our food. Rising grocery prices are going to cause it. All of these things are playing a role in getting us back to our roots and what we actually need to be focused on that matters in our world, because the way we have been living is very unsustainable. And that's also going to help the earth, because there will be more plants, and more plants are good for the environment. What are your thoughts? Let's chat about it in the comments. When I think about Rome falling, my soul gets so excited, y'all. So this is kind of what's coming, and I've been talking about this in my Pluto and Aquarius videos, and definitely inside my membership, because I recently in my membership did a whole class on the US's Pluto return chart and the US's solar return chart for this year. The US just had a birthday, so they're getting a new solar return chart. And yes, I'm using Rome to represent the US in this analogy because it's very apt. What happened with Rome is happening in the United States. It's nothing to be scared of though. Like literally it's all divine and it needs to happen. And what I foresee, you know, there's so many ways it could go. I don't know exactly. Nobody knows exactly. And if they're telling you they do, they're bullshitting, because the future is being created by what we as a collective are doing now and what frequency and energy we are resonating at as a collective as a whole, which could change,
which thus could change what happens in our world. This is all up to us. And this is why I say not to focus your energy on all this bullshit propaganda that you're being flooded with on these tiny little screens and big screens, and focus on your own healing, your own journey, and raising your own vibration, because that's what's going to change our world. Anyways, what I see happening is a lot of us returning back to living with the land and living in small, tight-knit communities. If y'all have read the book Atlas Shrugged, and don't come at me about Ayn Rand, okay? That's not what this is about. Make your own videos if you hate Ayn Rand. What happened in Atlas Shrugged is literally what is happening with our world right now. The world around us, the system is collapsing and it's crumbling, and what we're going to have to do is leave it and create our own communities, our own small towns and structures and systems outside of a big overarching one by living on the land, where everyone in the community contributes a skill to make that town, that community thrive. This is why so many of us are like, I want to buy land. I just want to buy land and live on it with all my friends and have a garden and build my own house or whatever. Like, that's literally what is going to happen. Getting back to more tribal living instead of this like individualistic culture we've been conditioned into, and learning how to thrive within community again, like our ancestors did. The people that originally lived on this land did. That's what I think is happening. What are your thoughts? Let's talk about it in the comments.
Everybody's mad at that girl who said that you should be able to ask your friends for favors like rides to the airport or help.
This is a telltale sign of people who are still gripping onto the Pluto and Capricorn energy. This is the year we are finally leaving that energy for good. And by good, I mean none of us alive today will ever see Pluto and Capricorn again unless you live to be 200 years old. We have stepped into the Pluto and Aquarius era, and we do have a revisitation of Pluto and Capricorn for 2 months later this year from September to November, but after that, it's Pluto and Aquarius baby for the next 15 years. Or 18 years, it's a long time. And this is exactly that energy. Go watch this creator's original video. It's gold, and it perfectly summarizes Pluto and Aquarius and being more community-based. Capricorn energy is everyone out for themselves. I can do it all myself. It's hyper independence. Aquarius doesn't play like that. They might want to from time to time, but they really thrive. Aquariuses and Aquarius energy really thrives when it has a community and it feels like it belongs within that community. And just like this original creator said, what really truly builds community is relying on other people for things you can't do yourself. So if you want to embrace this Pluto and Aquarius energy, it's time to drop the hyper-independence nature that we've all been conditioned to be.
I have a theory in like 10 years that being a little ugly and a little wrinkly is going to be in fashion. And
at this point, it's basically guaranteed. Let's look at the astrology behind it. If you're already aware of what's going on, then you know Pluto has moved into Aquarius, and after this year, it will stay there for about 18 years. This is a huge generational shift. Pluto moving into Aquarius is bringing change and transition to our collective themes and what we're focused on as humanity across the world. Aquarius is all about what is real, which, by the way, no one alive today has seen Pluto in Aquarius. Pluto has not been in Aquarius for 248 years, since the late 1700s. Aquarius energy is all about being authentic, establishing belonging with people. The past few generations of where Pluto has been in Sagittarius and Capricorn. Sagittarius is all about being presentable, how things look. Sagittarius is classic celebrity energy. It's not Leo like everyone says it is. Sagittarius is Leo on steroids, okay? Most celebrities are Sagittariuses. Britney Spears, Miley Cyrus, Nicki Minaj, Taylor Swift. I could go on and on. Sagittarius loves to look good and be seen looking good, okay? This is where the root of the plastic surgery and the lip fillers and the Botox and all the things that people are doing to make themselves look a certain way has stemmed from. Then we had Pluto and Capricorn, which just amplifies that. Capricorn wants to look good as well, and it wants to flaunt its status through its appearance. Do you know Capricorns in your life? Capricorn risings, Capricorn sun, Capricorn Venuses, they all love to look good. Capricorn is all about status and flaunting it by how things look. But Aquarius doesn't care about any of that shit. Aquarius wants to break the rules. It wants to innovate, and it wants to bring things back to what is real and what is authentic and what establishes belonging with people, which is realness and vulnerability and being your authentic self. Not only that Pluto and Aquarius is causing this energy of people wanting to see people who look normal and just like them. We're over the fakeness, okay? We're over the making yourself look a certain way to keep up with the Joneses, right? We're over it. It's dying as a collective. Now, we aren't seeing the major shift of it yet because Pluto just went into Aquarius, but We will see this shift over the next 18 years. And I feel like it might even happen sooner because the South Node is in Libra. The North and the South Node in the sky, where they currently are, represent the seasons that we're in as a collective. These are rapid kind of seasons. It changes every 18 months. Whereas Pluto are long-term generational changes. Makes sense? So the South Node being in Libra, Libra rules beauty standards and how things look. Image, vanity, this is all Libra. And with the South Node being there, this is what we're releasing as a collective. We are changing our values of vanity and beauty as a collective. And what this original creator said also lines up with where the South Node is going to be moving in coming years. In about a year, the South Node will be in Virgo, which rules perfectionism. It rules the standards we adhere to as a collective, so those are going through a big release as well in the next 2 years. Then the South Node will move into Leo in about 2 years, which also rules image. What we view as luxury and fashion as a collective. We will go through a major release of that, and the North Node at that time will be in Aquarius. It will move over Pluto. So I feel like this is when we will really start to see these new beauty standards of wanting people to look normal and ugly, quote unquote, take hold. And all that's happening leading up to that is just supporting it more. This will happen in 2027. It might take a while for this to really bleed into mainstream culture, but you never know. Predictions are a fickle thing. Just based on this astrology alone, though, it is a high possibility. What are your thoughts? Do you have any of these placements in your chart? Let me know in the comments.
From TikTok? You get your news from...
That's wild. I was just thinking about this yesterday, how the only source of news up until like TVs, so 70s, 80s, was the newspaper. Think about that. For hundreds of years, and really the newspaper was only a thing starting in like the 1700s. So for like 250 years, give or take 25 years, I don't know the exact dates of when the printing press was invented and when it became mass media, I don't know. But for about 250 years, okay, a Pluto's lifespan, Pluto takes 250 years to orbit all 12 zodiac signs. Pluto is the planet of mass transformation and change, also the planet that brings secrets to light, reveals truth, in order to catalyze a transformation and change in our society because it is a generational planet. And in the last 40 years, since the invention of TV and then cell phones and then social media, how we've gotten information has completely changed. Getting news from TikTok is very Aquarian, okay? And now we are in the age of Pluto in Aquarius. Pluto is revealing truth through technology to catalyze transformation. Jupiter is about to move into Gemini in about 2 weeks. Gemini rules media. Jupiter expands whatever sign it is in. There's going to be a massive shift and change in our media. This is going to be amplified by the fact that we soon have Uranus, the planet of change, innovation, and chaos, Aquarius's ruler, moving into Gemini, the sign of media and information. Uranus moves into Gemini next year, where it will be in a harmonious aspect to Pluto in Aquarius. Do y'all see where I'm going with this? Now, we know that old ideas really just die off. Old ways of being die off. Conditioning dies off. And the planet repopulates itself. And these are how these new ideas, this innovation, actually comes to take hold on a mainstream level. We are seeing that take place in our society. And it's not done. This is only the beginning. To stay on point, where do you get your news from? Because I sure as hell don't trust the newspapers or the TV to give me news. Can the TV still do that? Yeah, I don't know. And that's what I'm speaking to. What about you?
I feel like college degrees, bachelor level, right?
It's the age of Aquarius. Pluto goes back into Aquarius on the 20th of January. It will go back into Capricorn for a couple months later in 2024, but for the most part, we are really stepping into the Aquarian age. And yes, like this creator says, most college degrees are a legit scam because if you work for a company, they are going to train you to do the job. What did you just spend 4 years and tons of money to get a piece of paper taking classes you probably didn't even need to take to learn what you need to learn to do the job? It's just so unnecessary. I don't know why we're still doing that and pressuring youth, adolescents to pursue that path when they don't even know what they want to do, but yet we're telling them they need this to get jobs. Bullshit. Some of the most successful people in this world are college dropouts, and because they became so successful later in life, the college gave them a degree. Like, what? The best teacher, the best way to learn something, the best way to get good at something is through experience. It's through doing it. It's not by taking classes on it. It's not by making a whole plan of how you're going to do it. It's by taking the action. It's by failing forward that you're going to learn how to do something and be successful at it. Experience is the greatest teacher. And we have YouTube, and TikTok to educate us on things we don't know how to do. Why do I need to pay someone $30,000 a year to learn something that, one, probably won't be helpful, and two, I probably won't even remember, because most education is focused on memorization to pass tests, not actual implementation. You're not actually experiencing the thing. You're not actually learning anything. You're just memorizing shit to pass tests to get a number and a grade. It's just so backwards. And we're realizing that. It's dying. It's changing. Now, I'm not creating this to make people feel bad about their degrees. If you got one, awesome. Don't ruminate on the fact that you're not going to use it or whatever, you haven't used it or whatever, you think it was a mistake. Don't ruminate on that. What are you going to do to move forward? Because that's how you're going to be successful, is looking ahead, not looking backwards.
It feels like a major, not shift, but switch is coming. It's like people are being...
I love talking about this right now because I am so excited. Pluto in Aquarius, the people's rising. And what is happening that we haven't necessarily seen the physical, tangible results of just yet is that people are realizing, we as the people are realizing that we have the power over what corporations are still alive and running. I don't know if y'all have really put two and two together when it comes to this, but Blockbuster went out of business because people stopped buying video rentals. It's not just because Netflix came out, it's because people stopped buying from Blockbuster and going to Blockbuster. And oh god, watch, I'm about to start a whole thing about what is Blockbuster. Same thing happened with Kmart, right? Where did all the Kmarts go? They're no longer. Because people stopped going there. Same thing happened with MySpace and Periscope. Periscope used to be an app and platform that was just live, people going live, because no other social medias had that feature yet. But when social media started coming out with that feature, people got off Periscope and stopped using Periscope. And it's not, yes, it's because the attention switched to a new feature on another social media that already existed, but that made Periscope obsolete in this case. But do y'all get what I'm getting at? The pattern is that you stop supporting things, you stop spending your money on them, and they become obsolete. You are literally voting with your dollars on what you want to support. And we're not only doing that with companies right now more and more, I feel like Starbucks is the next one to go, but we're also doing that with people, with celebrities. It's starting to happen with the Kardashians because we're tired of it. And we get to choose who we give our attention to and who we give our money to. And that is truly what rules the world. Elon Musk wouldn't be a billionaire if so many people didn't buy Teslas. Jeff Bezos wouldn't be a billionaire if so many people didn't buy from Amazon. Y'all want to demonize these people for having all the money that they have, but we give it to them. There are only 3,000 billionaires in the world out of 8 billion people. 3,000 billionaires, 8 billion people. Us 8 billion people put those billionaires there because we supported their products and bought from them. That is capitalism. And I'm not demonizing capitalism. I think the system in itself is a great system. It's worked for many, many years all across the world. But people with greed have corrupted it, and we've let them because we're giving them our money. And we're realizing this. We're realizing that, hey, we actually hold the power. Y'all remember what happened with the GameStop stock? There's really truly nothing to fear but holding the power that you have back and not using it, not expressing it. But once you do, the world will change. And it is. The shift is happening soon. Pluto goes back into Aquarius in January. The age of Aquarius truly is upon us now. And it's up to us to make it happen in the ways that we want it to.
If you watched Source, the new Joe Dispenza documentary, can we please talk about it?
Who else knows about Joe Dispenza? Let's talk about his birth chart, because this is so Pluto in Aquarius. And very in line with another video I saw the other day talking about how if we literally just all vibrate to peace, that's all that can exist on the planet. I know it may sound far-fetched if you haven't been in this world of energy and vibration and frequency, which is Joe Dispenza's world.
I've been following his stuff, reading his books for years, and it has literally changed my life. This is why I'm such a big proponent on your belief systems, and that your belief systems literally shape your reality. And the vibration and frequency that you maintain consistently throughout your day to day based on those belief systems, you're either fueling ones that don't serve you, or you are fueling ones that serve you and creating the new reality that you want. But it all starts with your belief system. Highly recommend the books of Joe Dispenza and this documentary. I haven't watched it yet, but it seems like it'll be amazing. I mean, if it's anything like what he's created in the past, just watching his podcast interviews are so activating and so inspiring. It's incredible. I know people that have gone to his events and witnessed these incredible transformations and healings that people have gone through. It's truly incredible what the power of our mind can do when we're using it as a tool and when we're not letting it distract us. This is so Pluto and Aquarius, and Joe Dispenza has Jupiter in Aquarius at 29 degrees, the degree of fame, and he also has Saturn in Aquarius, which Saturn is your greatest lesson. It's the teacher that you are here to become in the area that you have Saturn through the lessons that it is here to teach you. I talked about this on the podcast episode I did on Saturn, going through each Saturn sign and overall what the general lesson is for each Saturn sign. And because Joe Dispenza has Saturn and Jupiter both in Aquarius, he is meant to be known for this energy. He also has a lot of placements in Pisces. Pisces rules spirituality and being connected to the ether, the energy that connects us to source, where we came from. And he is a sun in Aries at 1 degree. So he is here to pioneer us all as a collective into something new and out of the old, which was being too consumed with the matrix and what we see, and accepting what we see and what we feel as reality, as opposed to knowing that we can create our own reality through what we choose to believe and then vibrate to and then see, not the other way around. There's a wonderful book that when I read changed my life and really kickstarted this journey for me. It's called You'll See It When You Believe It. It's by Wayne Dyer. I love all of his books. He's one of my favorites. And all of these people are just teaching very similar things, that we control our reality by our thoughts, by our belief system, and what those belief systems and thoughts are creating a consistent vibration and frequency in us that we are resonating to. Anything is possible in this world. We can create the world that we want, and we are on a daily basis. We just have to choose what we want instead of being distracted by what we see that's not what we want.